All right. Hi, guys. It's good old Court. Here we are trying to reach out to my audience. Unfortunately, Jason is sick tonight. So um, he's still working on getting a stand in. But until then, you got me. All right. You're going to love it. So let's see. How do I want to do this? the We do have some hot items here. I think the one that is most concerning, okay, more than any other, is how do I want to put this? The inconsistency that continues in terms of how the Iranian government is talking and how President Trump is talking. So let me just rattle off some headlines and then I'm going to get into this. So Israel bombs civilian areas of Beirut is one headline. Top Netanyahu advisor says the attacks will continue. Israeli tankers are not allowed to pass through Hormuz. I didn't even know there were Israeli tankers. Interesting. So the other thing, I mean, I don't like this headline, but I guess this, we have to understand that President Trump really is the master of communication. He knows more about communication than probably all the other presidents we've had combined in the last 50 years. So we know that when he was talking about the erasure of a civilization, that was intended to get their attention, and it did. Meantime, though, we continue to see this incredible divergence. The expectations of both sides are so far apart, or as some would call them, maximalist positions, that we can't even, see how they would come together. Where's the common ground going to be? And I don't think there's going to be a common ground if you really want to know what I think. So let's see here. There's this other thing I wanted to mention quickly. Yep, that's right. So Trump urges Iran to stop charging fees to tankers passing through the Hormuz Strait. Urges. That an urge does not sound like a threat, but I think a threat may be coming along rather shortly. Okay. So there's that. Let's see if there are a couple other things to rattle off here, and I want to get into the rest of this. Then he says they better not be charging fees on Hormuz. Well, too late for that. So how do you get from urge to they better not? So this constitutes a real problem. The Iranian drone industry depends upon China. Okay, well, believe me, China's going to do everything they can to help out. I don't think there's any amount of leaning on them on China that President Trump can do that will address that situation. All right, so here we have a note. See, so you have Ghalibaf of Iran saying that time is running out. Netanyahu doubles down on refusing the ceasefire in Lebanon. And the Ayatollah vows revenge and signals a Hormuz shift and warns his Arab neighbors. Okay, all of this, ladies and gentlemen, just seems to be pointing in one direction, all right? And the only question in my mind is how long is President Trump going to put up with this before, quite frankly, he's on the spot about taking action? We've been told that you have this split in the mind of the Iranian government. They think they're winning when they're not. We say they're not. They continue to be able to launch missiles. There's this unconfirmed report about mining the Hormuz Strait. The nature of this fight, I'm still looking for a shift, and I haven't seen it yet. All right. So if anybody's asking my opinion, maybe a week at best before something has to blow, as far as I'm concerned. So, right. I'm doing a quick search here on something else for y'all. Let's see here if I can find it. There it is. The other thing is, let's see. Yeah, this is all this is. It's a truce for the world, a reckoning for Iran's economy. This is from Iran International. Yeah, there is, and it's interesting. There's another, just quickly. There's an article here that makes the point that. All right, let's back up a little bit. We know that Saudi Arabia built that pipeline that cuts across Saudi Arabia, goes from the Persian Gulf over to the Red Sea, and I think that's a 1.5 to 2 million barrels a day of the oil they pump. And the sense was, well, if you're going to have this antagonistic, arrogant, aggressive Iranian government, who now is lashing out pretty much at everybody still, even after they apologized, there's the sense that this has been understood for a long time. All right. Oh, wait. Somebody showed up suddenly. What? Hold on, folks.
I made it.
What?
Tell them why I couldn't make it?
No.
Good. All right, let's do this.
You don't expect me to lie, do you?
Sucking it up. Huh?
You don't expect me to lie, do you?
No. But the mantra is, when somebody can't do it, is he's just out for tonight. That's all.
Okay.
Never a reason.
All right.
I was gonna have my cat substitute, but
all right.
No, I feel like crap, but we're gonna get this done.
All right. So I'm live right now. So why don't
you are? Well, oh my goodness. Okay.
You said you weren't going to do it, so I just said,
I'm here now.
Right. I get on. I apologize for your absence.
I made it. Sometimes I'm gonna log on live too. Sometimes I drive myself into a stupor by going too quickly, by just going at such a pace.
You talking about your work today?
Yeah, just work and everything, just doing everything. I just overdo it, and then I get overtired. Like tonight.
All right.
Here we go. We're live on Facebook here. It is April 9th, 2026. Today, by the way, is the 23rd anniversary of the day of the fall of Baghdad. It was 23 years ago today that the Americans stormed Baghdad and took down the statue of Saddam Hussein that was in the town square.
Right.
They dragged the statue through the street, if people may remember.
Okay, well, where we were supposed to be welcomed as liberators. Thank you, Mr. Cheney.
That's correct. And
how did that work out?
I remember that was the day my son was born. That's why I remember. That's the day my only son was born that day, that very day.
That's wild.
That's why I remember it so well.
Of all and so he's what, 23 now?
23 years old today, or
wow.
Yeah, it's still today. Yep.
Okay, today. Let's see. That makes him an Aries.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a very crazy day. I was in the hospital and that day. Yeah. It was cool. Not me. I was in the hospital in the fraternity.
Did you wish him happy birthday today?
I sure did.
All right.
He works second shift. He works second shift. He'll be here later tonight.
Where does he live?
He lives with me half the time.
Oh, okay.
He lives in Summers with his mom some of the time too.
Well,
he's making good money now. He's got a real good job, like a lot of money.
Oh, what is that? What is that job he's got?
He's making airplane parts for the United States, baby.
Oh, nice, sweet. Okay,
real sweet.
All right. Well,
he's making big bucks, man. Like he's making kind of money that, like, honestly.
Okay, but so
awesome.
So
he'll get a house like next year.
So is he a machinist?
Yeah, he operates machinery. That's correct.
So he uses
more of a hand skill kind of thing, but it is operating machinery. Yeah,
and he uses a CNC.
I think so.
All right.
I know what he does is very intricate. What he does is very. I don't know the details because he's not allowed to tell me much, I guess.
Yes.
But I do know that what he does involves very intricate details and to the 1/10,000th of an inch.
Sure.
In terms of welding parts together and getting things just right, and he's very about getting it right, but he's very good. So.
All right. So he's doing the hands-on stuff.
Hands-on stuff, yeah, blue collar stuff all the way. But the kind of money he's making, I'm not going to say it, but it's a lot. It's like, and it's not the hourly wage, which is great. It's not the hourly wage so much, but it's the double and triple time they're always offering. Yeah, double time for this day. Time for this day.
What's triple time? The weekend?
They pay him triple time on holidays.
Oh my goodness!
And
So
it's the
the work
option
is
if you want to win or not.
Okay, is this Sikorsky?
No, it's Collins.
I'm sorry, what?
Collins. Yeah.
An airplane.
It's part of UTC. It's part of United Technologies.
All right. Okay, I'll have to check that out sometime.
Yeah, they're up in East Granby.
If anybody's going to give him lifetime employment, it's what comes next in Iran.
Yeah.
So,
That's
my
true.
goodness.
That's true.
Just, yeah. I don't know about you, but my read is that this is out of control.
It is. What you mean, Iran?
All right. Let's just focus on the Strait of Hormuz. Okay.
Okay.
You have an unconfirmed report that the strait has been mined by the Iranian government, and the nature of the mining is such that they're forcing ships to go closer to the Iranian coast as part of their plan to charge fees for each tanker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that by itself, if it's true, is just, that's in your face. Okay, that's just telling Trump to take a hike.
Mm-hmm.
And so then President Trump, there were two quotes. One is he urges them to open the traffic up, which is a nice way of saying don't charge fees. And then the second thing is that he would be concerned if they're charging fees. All right. One of the key points in this so-called negotiation, our 15 points versus their 10 points or whatever, is predicated upon opening up the straits. And right now, I would say de facto, Iran is getting its own way. All right. And we haven't confronted what it's going to take to fix this mess.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So right now, all right, if I was going to score this, right, on a time basis, so between this time and this time, who's winning, who's got a score, who's got a point, that would be Iran. Who's got 0? Us. Not good. So, all right, all of that said, I got to believe that they're,
How can you say that we're down 1-0?
Carefully working it out, and we'll see.
We're not down in this game.
See what?
We're not down in this game.
Down?
Yeah, you're making it out like we're losing the war. We're not losing the war.
I said within a time frame. Okay. Just this time period.
Oh, okay.
It's just like in a football game. You got 4 quarters, and then in the first quarter, the other guys are winning. The second quarter, we're winning. In the third quarter, it's tied. And then you get down to the fourth quarter and see how it's going to turn out. And so right now in the first quarter, sorry, they're winning. All right.
I don't agree.
We don't have control of the Hormuz Strait. That's the big enchilada here.
Well, I don't agree that they're winning. They're not winning. They're not winning anything. We are kicking their asses.
All right,
we just haven't been able to
polish them off. First of all,
we haven't polished them off, but we're kicking their asses. We just haven't been able to polish them off.
How are we kicking their asses if people are paying money to Iran?
How many people? How many of their people and their boats and their navy and their army have been destroyed versus ours?
Or no, wait, hold on. If it is true that they're mining the straits, what's the BS about having sunk in their navy?
If it is true.
Yes. Okay.
Unconfirmed reports.
All right. Well, all of that said, so
from the media that we know lies.
It's selective. When you look at these satellite photos, or what are they, color coded and whatever, and you're looking at the Strait of Hormuz, and you see all this ship activity on each side of the strait and very little in between.
What are you doing?
Yes.
You got to get out of there. Yeah, you're gonna knock everything over.
Yes.
Oh, damn it. Sorry.
Okay.
My cat is about to destroy everything I've ever built in this room, so I have to take care of this.
Yes, I see. Well, what this tells me, Jason.
Keep going. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, and the audience is listening too. This is too good.
Okay, here we go.
All right. I continue with my point. For a moment there, the cat was winning.
The cat was winning the war there. I don't know how she got there, but she was about to unplug everything I had. The show would have been over. So let's take care of that.
There you go. All right. So you had to throw the cat out.
Cat had to go.
Okay. So Trump has to throw the Iranians out of the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, and I don't understand why we can't do that. We basically have the entire world against Iran, but somehow Iran's winning. I mean, it's just the
All
whole
right.
thing is.
The answer is that doing it is a little bit more complicated than it appears. All right. You have to.
Yeah, doing it with the kit gloves you want to do everything with. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's. No, I don't. We're not. I don't think that we're treating it with kit gloves. Think of this more like two boxers in the ring. Okay. And already some punches have been thrown. All right. So just call it.
We're lumping him up, and he's all lumped up, but he won't go down. You're gonna hit him over and over again.
But staggering, but he's still up. Yeah. Okay. So now the challenge here is you're going to have to. You're going around instead of throwing these punches. It looks like he's hurting a little bit, but I haven't really knocked him out. So now you're trying to figure out how am I going to knock him out? Okay. That's the moment that we're in right now. How are you going to knock him out?
Not with a ceasefire, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, again, the ceasefire is like the two guys circling each other in the ring. Okay.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. So it's just, on its face, there are a lot of things that just don't look good to me. They don't look like they're going our way. And, and this is the moment where I get to pick on Israel again, because in a sense, I'm going to say it, as some people have said, they got us into this mess. They gave President Trump bad information, and we made decisions based upon that bad information.
Iran is the reason for this mess, not Israel.
Sorry?
Not Iran. Iran is the reason for this, not Israel.
All right. Well, how would that be so? Because it was Israel. It was Israel's people standing in the room before all the fighting started who made the case for doing it. Okay. Because at that moment, President Trump was looking at the Secretary of War, looking at the Chief of Staff, looking at the others in the room and asking for, what is your take on this? And one of the things that we learned is that there was a remarkable range of views in the room. Okay. So, the General Kane, for the head of the chief of staff, basically said, I understand what's involved here, and I can tell you the attack is not a good idea, but if it's what you want to do, we'll do it. And J.D. Vance had a similar view where he said, I'm not really in favor of this, but if you decide to do it, I will support you. Okay. And Secretary Hegseth was probably the one most all in, the one who was most gung ho about doing it. All right.
About eradicating evil, you mean?
Let's be practical rather than make these statements. The point is,
they're evil. They're pure evil.
You have to commit resources. You have to be willing to execute a plan. All right. And if that plan is not well thought out, guess what? It's not going to work. I know you don't like to hear that, but this is all right. There was the expectation, and this was because of the Israelis.
I guess Iran
was the expectation that this would all go easily.
Yeah, I guess Iran's just too powerful.
We were lied to.
Yeah, Iran is just too big and too powerful for us.
No, it's not a question of too big and too powerful.
Well, maybe we should.
You make a decision about your plan of action based upon the information that's going to influence that decision. Mm-hmm. And if somebody is telling you something that's not true, you've got a problem. Okay? And the Israelis lied. They lied.
What's not true? What did they lie about?
They lied that there would be an uprising. Okay? They lied that it would take a short period of time.
There was an uprising last fall. Last fall, there was an uprising. And they shot 30,000 of them dead in the street.
Okay.
Okay, so they're still there. There's still an uprising.
You're skittering off the road here. You're skittering off the road.
Not a lie.
Everything I'm talking about is based upon the decisions that were made in early February. Early February. Don't think about the other stuff. All of this is about here we were sitting on the edge, trying to decide this is what we're going to do.
And somehow Israel knew that there was never going to be another rebellion and lied to the Americans and said there's going to be a rebellion and lied to us. That's what you're saying. That's bullshit. I don't believe that for a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Then why were they wrong? How did they misread the idea of an uprising?
We all saw the Iranian people come out last fall.
Okay.
And so it stands to reason we would think they would come out again with our support.
Yeah.
That they would come out again.
If anybody over these years and decades would have had people on the ground providing all kinds of information, it would have been the Israelis. Okay?
And we're just assuming that we don't have any of that.
There's always a question about the quote quality of the information. How good is it? How reliable is it? And
I just get frustrated with
yes.
I guess it's a general frustration because we don't know what's really going on. So
wait, what's going on here? Eric is going. Dr. Ricky Smith, breaking wind is uncalled for.
Okay. I'm ready to break some wind, man.
All right. Are you going to send your kid to war when the draft comes back? Well,
I'm glad there's no voter.
DJ Ricky Smith, seeing as my son is of age, he gets to decide, and it's never an easy decision. It's not going away because you have seen, reticent to admit that even. Eric, you're going to have to explain that one. Israel was the one making the case. That's correct. That's my point. Okay. And the U.S. activity, we know about that. Okay.
Iran has been spreading terror throughout the world for 50 years, and somehow Israel's making the case. Nobody else wants to bother with Iran, but Israel's making the case.
Well, it's because they present that the Mossad has, what should I say, infiltrated the Iranian society more than anybody else.
Sure.
So who's supposed to have better information than them?
Israel's very existence has been targeted by these people. I mean, I can't.
All right. So as a result, this is Israel's calculus. Let me make it easy for you. Whatever affects us, we must react to. Everything about Iran is an existential threat. We, Israel, do not have the ability to bring Iran down. We have thrown all that we have at everything that they have in their proxies because they are an existential threat. That's Israel's thing.
All the sense in the world.
Okay.
Yep.
So who's the big bad bear who can come in and fix this mess? America.
We are.
Okay. All right. But
Iran is also an existential threat to us as well.
All right. Not like they are to Israel.
No, but yet they are. No, I don't agree with that. There's just as much of a threat to us as they are to Israel. Just as much.
Oh, no.
In the long run, they are. They've taken over Dearborn, Michigan. They got the mayor of New York. They got the mayor of Los Angeles. They got the mayor of Chicago. Should I go on? They own London County. They got us town. Yeah, the Muslim Green Red Wave, which Iran is a part of. They're all over this country. Mm-hmm. They're part of the Democratic Party now. Yeah. And they're a major threat, not just to Israel, not just to Israel, the entire free world, to all of us.
Is entirely on the front line. Okay. DJ Ricky Smith points out, look into the Greater Israel Project. Well, DJ, I can assure you, we have been talking quite a bit.
Oh yeah, look into the
Israel Project.
Just look into all those extreme wings of whatever we want, and just blanket that over the whole country. So I guess all of Israel is about they want to conquer the world.
How do you know it's extreme?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there.
We don't have any information here about polling, any analysis, any reports. All we know is that this is an idea. We know that.
Sure, I have an idea.
We know.
The King of Canada.
Hold on.
I have an idea too.
We know that Netanyahu has spoken favorably of the Greater Israel Project.
Okay, so people speak favorably about their own country's cultures expanding. That's about as normal as apple pie. And I'm sorry, I'm not gonna start blaming Israel for things. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not blaming Israel for anything. We cherry picked their extreme wings, and then we just say, oh, this is what Israel's all about. That country's been under fire for 60 years.
Who's in charge of Israel right now?
I don't know who.
Netanyahu.
Yeah, I understand that.
Who is spoken favorably of the Greater Israel Project? Netanyahu.
So what? We would like to see America around the world too.
All right.
I'd like to see the whole world be like America. Wouldn't that be cool? So that does that make me extreme?
Right. I need to submit for your consideration.
Yes, sir.
A couple of things.
Okay.
The history of that region is thousands of years.
That's right.
Old.
That's correct.
Okay. That means many cultures, dare I say, many civilizations that have come and gone over that time.
And Judaism is a big part of all that.
As is Islam, and Christianity. Duh. Okay. But the real fight, this is the other thing. We don't really recognize that this is, at heart, this is a holy war. When Israel set up shop there, okay, they were surrounded by Muslim countries.
They are surrounded
by Muslim countries.
They are. That's why I feel bad for them.
Okay, which means one thing. They hate Israel. And it's taken the longest time to come to deal with this. One of the solutions, the Abraham Accords. I think it's a fabulous idea.
I think eventually we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say DJ Ricky's on top of things here. Let's see here. Israel's planning a huge false flag. Keep an eye on the San Francisco Bridge or the U.S. Bank building. What? Just saying. Okay. How do I feel about that? Yeah, that would be the San Francisco Bridge. If you mean the Golden Gate Bridge, that would be a difficult one to pull off because it is in plain sight. All right.
There's nothing more better. There's nothing better for the Iran, for the mullah and their cause is to have us blaming Israel and us talking about how Israel's bad and Israel talking about, how we don't do it. Get us criticizing Israel. That's how they win.
All right.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not falling for it.
All right.
Israel is unified. I know. So of course they have extreme wings that want to destroy the Muslims around them and expand Israel around the world. Of course. I sure as hell would feel that way.
Okay. While you're doing your fabulous Archie Bunker impersonation,
get out of my chair.
I want to point out that there's another element here, another way of looking at this. All right. The Jews are supposed to be the chosen people, right?
Well, I don't buy all that, but go ahead.
All right, but this is what they like to say. And part of being chosen means that they had a covenant with God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Rule the world.
However, at least once they broke that covenant. You want to pick out any point in time where that might have been the case?
Go ahead. Tell me when.
When they started to worship the golden calf, when Moses went up to okay, that is when they just said, nah, we don't believe in God. Okay. Well, guess what? God forgave them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, I'm sorry. When you are lying to me, you're breaking a covenant with me. And that presents me with a challenge of whether or not I'm going to forgive you. And so my message to Israel is, once again, like God, I have forgiven you. Now get your act together and get it right.
Okay. God has given us free will. So since we have free will, I'm not going to involve him in a discussion on warfare about Israel and whatnot, what's going on.
Okay.
Because Israel's got free will. They're doing what they're doing. And this is...
use it correctly. Use it wisely.
Sure.
Not using it wisely.
Even if we were, just to get back to the basics for you for a minute here, the Muslims clearly want to rule the world and have the world under their green wave, and Israel, I'm sure, would like to rule the world as well and have everything under the golden, the shield of the Ten Commandments and whatnot, and both would desire these things. But I would submit that I'd rather live under Judaism rule. If we're going to let Israel conquer the world versus Iran, I'm going to vote for Israel with their GIS or whatever every time. So that's what we aspire to. Okay. Look, we're not going to live under Israel. We all know we're not going to live under the world of Israel rule here. It's not going to happen anytime soon. However, the threat for a red-green wave to come take over our world is certainly real.
Yes, I would agree with that. That's the more real threat.
Yes.
So I think a whole other discussion. Okay.
Okay.
But let's get back to the fundamental issue here.
Okay.
For us to move forward in this fight with Iran, number one. Oh, wait, what are my thoughts on the Freemasons? Now
we're getting into a subject with the Freemasons.
Okay, well, no, Dr. Ricky Smith, DJ Ricky here, just asked the question, so I'd like to try. But here's I'll have to look at this minor fact. Okay, but
I was cultivated by the Freemasons.
So
in 2010,
the Freemasons, as you know, started out as a bunch of construction guys. Okay,
that's the Freemasons.
Yes, and for this, as we know what their logo or symbol is,
bricklayers.
Okay, so how they went from that, okay, to where we are today, where you have, I'll put it to you this way: I believe that there are two groups of Freemasons, and the first one is benign, and that's the Freemasons most people think of. That's most of the lodges and stuff.
That have the hospitals and whatnot too.
Yeah. Okay. But but then there's the second group, a smaller number, and they may be involved in some shady activities. It's certainly been suggested. But here's the problem: anytime you have a cult,
do you think they're completely separate organizations, or you just think that the second group is like an offshoot of the first group?
Offshoot. Yeah, I'll call it an offshoot. Yeah. Okay. It's that I'm not a Freemason. Okay.
They cultivated me.
Sorry?
In 2010, I met someone and they tried to cultivate me into the Freemason group.
Well, how hard did they try?
A couple of their meetings even, and I was thinking about it.
Yeah, okay.
And the reason why I didn't do it, they got it right down. They were going to have a ceremony. They were going to bring me in. I was going to be part of it. They all liked me, and I liked them too. Actually, they were great people, and they talked about a lot of great stuff, connections and whatnot. Right. And the only reason I didn't do it, I backed out of it at the last minute. They were disappointed.
Yeah. Right.
But the reason why I backed out is because they wanted me to call them father. The guy that I was mentor wanted me to call him father.
Oh, okay.
I was going to call him father. I'm like, look, I think you're cool.
How about
and
Pop?
I'll call you sir, and I'll show you respect. I'm not going to call you my daddy, man. Yeah. You ain't my daddy, dude. I just didn't feel right about it. It was awkward. And it wasn't casual, like, hey, if you want to call me father, go ahead. It was, you must call me father.
All right. Well, then I must leave.
Yeah, I must leave, right? But I must go.
Right.
So that's kind of what happened there. That was 2010, I think it was.
Yeah. All right. Well, in the meantime, so you get back to this stuff. All right. I want to believe that Israel is looking at itself and saying, yes, we do have to do a better job because, guys, you can't. Here's what I think is the bad assumption that the Israelis are making. If America goes in to Iran, we're going to clean this mess up. Wrong. Sorry, that assumption is wrong. It is as wrong as thinking you can just sit on somebody and declare victory. Okay? These are nasty people. All right? They've demonstrated their nastiness over and over again.
And they must be eradicated.
Yeah. So how do you? Okay. So this
is how you handle these people.
It's all right. I think we know that the key part here is the uprising. If you cannot use all your resources that you have on the ground and draw together people in such a manner that you're able to put together, what should we call it? A guerrilla force, a resistance group, a political front that's elusive, and the
IRGC has to deal with separately. The IRGC has to deal with separately from us.
Yes, that's correct.
We're behind it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all right. That said, we go back to what Trump said about helping out the Kurds in January. We're stripping them all these arms they were supposed to give to a resistance group. Too bad the Kurds never did that. Kept the arms to themselves. All right. That said, just to bring it up, another thing that hasn't been talked about is that I would not be surprised, and I'm surprised. All right, let's put it this way. I believe that significant elements of the IRGC are, quote, holding down and attacking the Kurds in the northwest.
So you think there's a little aspect of the war going on there on the ground between the Kurds and the Iran in the northwest?
Okay, so the Kurds are skilled, experienced fighters. And the point is, if they break out in any way, this could be a big issue for the Iranian government and the Islamic State, and they know this.
Okay, so maybe they're not. So now what you're saying is in complete contrast to what we said earlier.
How?
The Kurds haven't just stolen the arms; they're actually trying to infiltrate
fighting, but
Iraq.
Okay,
and maybe they're struggling doing that.
All right. I'm going to say from a strategic point of view that if you're looking at a map of Iran and you're trying to figure out how you're going to weaken and divide your opponent, okay, you're going to have multiple realms of deployment. I mean, all right, let me use as a simple example. D-Day, all right? We invaded 5 beaches in D-Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Omaha was by far the worst of them. Utah was not quite as bad, but it was bad. And the others were a cakewalk, all right? But we had them deployed. We don't have, I haven't seen anything similar to talk about here with respect to.
Once again, it's been 6 weeks. Can we just be people just need to be a little more patient. This is not an easy country to unravel.
I would say 6 weeks is plenty enough time for something to appear.
It took 3.5 years for D-Day. It took 3 years for D-Day to happen.
We have questionable reports. We have examples of where the Israelis have screwed up.
It took 3 years for D-Day to unfold in World War II. Why are we so worried after 6 weeks?
It's not a question of worried. Let's see. Just trying to think. Well, hey, let's just for the heck of it, go back to World War II and the Japanese. The first year and a half of fighting the Japanese, we were losing. We were losing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We were losing. That's no doubt.
And so
that goes for the West.
It took us time to get our act together enough and turn the tide. All right. So we can say all we want about what we've done to Iran so far.
We're not losing.
But it's not what we need to do. All right. So if it's not what we need to do, you might as well call it losing. And we got to figure it out and get our act together because the first try didn't work. If it's in a case of going back in again and doing more bombing on the same, we're fine. But like I said the other night, you've got large and small. America's beating its chest and saying what a good country we are because you were very successful with the big things. All right. Mm-hmm. But the real victory comes with the little things.
And that will take a little more time. It's not going to happen in 6 weeks. Trump made a mistake coming out, talking a little too like, hey, we're going to get this thing done right away. Mm-hmm. What he meant was the military campaign, which is pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of that is what Trump should have been a little bit more, honest isn't the word, a little more forthright about maybe prepared the American people a little bit more for, hey, this could be a struggle that could last for a while. We're hoping to get the most of it done in the next few weeks. However, the aftermath will take longer. Yeah. I think his speech could have been a little more open like that to the people. But I think that as far as the actual tactical, what's actually happening though, I know part of the battle is winning over keeping the people engaged and whatnot. I understand that.
Part of it is, here's the funny thing, by the way. If you go, there are plenty of examples. Again, I'm trying to draw these analogies with World War II. I don't know. Maybe it's World War III, just a thought. But we had people, it was both ways. For example, Yamamoto, okay, when he was a young man in his 20s, so that would have been around 1910 or so, came to America and studied economics at Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who was going to become a leading admiral, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was part of the planning for the attack on the United States 20 years prior.
Learning how to do it at Yale. Isn't that great? Thanks, Yale University.
Harvard. It was Harvard, okay? But the point is that he took the opportunity to learn everything he could about the country. Back when hitchhiking was okay, he hitchhiked around the country. He went all kinds of places to get the feel for the American culture, because he knew he was going to be fighting them 20 years prior. Okay? But don't worry, he wasn't the only one. Now, the gentleman's name escapes me at the moment. I'm going to start mixing these guys up because I've been watching a lot of them.
That's where I get screwed up with the names. I know who the people are, but the names screw up.
There was a guy, an American, who back in the 1920s spent time in Japan, and he also visited some of the islands because he knew that we would be fighting Japan someday. So you had Americans and Japanese in the run-up to all of this who anticipated correctly what was coming, okay? And in the process, they learned, our American counterpart, I trust, would have learned everything he could have about the samurai culture and the way of the warrior in Japan, okay? And the kind of pride that they have in what they do. And the American and the Japanese guy would have come to America and go, wow, this is a big country. They got a lot of stuff going on here. And he would have been wowed by what he would have seen in terms of manufacturing and construction. Okay, which would have told, which would have told him
everything.
Yeah. So, okay. So all of this said, so in understanding the culture in a run-up to war, in my mind, is very important. Aren't you going to love the way I set this up? Because here we go.
You suggest that we don't know anything about their culture.
Well, Persian culture. Tonight, we have a little slideshow on Persian architecture. Okay. There you go. 2 examples.
Now, mosaic tiling.
Now, the blue one, and also this, all right. So it's curious because, you can say it's Persian, but I see elements of what I think of as Roman architecture and Greek architecture in there, okay? But then when you look at this one, the bluish one, these kinds of insets, I don't know about, I haven't seen that so much. And then the shapes that they have for where they have these blue tiles,
those mosaics? No, maybe not.
All right, but then we go back to these others here. Right, so this is like what we know. The one on top is like Moorish architecture, right? Okay, so you look at this and say they clearly had a strong sense of harmony and balance, I guess you could say, in terms of things that they would design. Yeah. So what I'm trying to get at is that the Iranian mindset, when it came, there's an argument here, okay? When you think about different cultures and how they build things, that gives you insight into their state of mind, all right? And so here you have sort of, they didn't build on the same scale that we did, but you can see that they have a sense of how everything's supposed to fit together, right? So if we actually took the time and trouble, we're going to find that for example, this reflecting pool here on the top one, if you took the measurements of that there would be some ratio between that and the dimensions of this part in the back with the 3 arches. All right. So sense of refinement, I guess it is not what you would call brutalist architecture now, is it?
Oh no, but who builds things like that?
Like this?
No, who builds brutalist architecture?
Well, where have you been? It's all around us. I'll give you one example.
My house. My house is a good example.
All right. Well, we're not here, but if you took the trip to Buffalo, New York, and you went to the North Campus for the State University of New York at Buffalo,
Okay.
you would have some wonderful examples of brutalist architecture.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything closer to home?
What?
Anything closer to home I can go drive by?
Sure. Well, all right. There is something closer. It would be the State University of New York at Purchase.
Okay.
It doesn't get much more brutalist than this, because that's where I finally got my college degree. And when you walk there, it's bricks. It's all bricks, all dark reddish brown bricks.
Okay.
And then you look at what's supposed to be the dance building. Tiny little windows in this huge edifice of a wall. Okay. And I thought this was strange until I learned that these buildings were designed by architects for the state of New York, who designed the state of New York's prisons. When you think of it in terms of the prisons, it makes perfect sense. And so there was a certain kind of wry humor that came with being a student at SUNY Purchase, knowing you were in buildings that were designed by architects who design prisons. Yep, there is a sensibility to all of this. Very weird. Anyway, so I just had to show that to you. So let's put that to bed for now.
All right.
So the other problem I have here, let me try to go back a little bit. It turns out there was this very interesting essay in the Wall Street Journal about 3 weeks ago, where we are reminded in no uncertain terms that in 1906 in Iran, they had a constitution introducing a democracy. So this would have been kind of on the tail end of the Ottoman Empire. But we have to remember that Iran or Persia was still very much a part of the Ottoman Empire. And so what was the characteristic of the Ottoman Empire? Tyranny, dictatorship. And the thing that's so weird about this is that they would always come up with all these weird terms. The Grand Poobah, the head vizier, the this, the that. They were always searching for titles of authority that represented an ultimate. Right? Sure. And so that would be their thinking. So that is not my interpretation of what I would call democratic thinking. What's this top picture looks like Ben Malah's house in Florida. Ben Malah? Who's Ben Malah?
Well, they still had obviously some sense of a desire. Whatever happened in 1906 when they created a constitution, there was obviously a groundswelling of grassroots people that wanted to see some kind of a democracy in that area.
Yes, yes. I need to read it more on that. It was welcomed. Okay.
Yeah. So,
what I don't understand then is, let's go 1906 to when Mossadegh was elected. So what was that, 1945 when he got elected? All right. So I don't remember what that government was back then, although I think it's worth noting that one of their neighbors, Turkey, was going through very fundamental changes. What was his name? Darn it. Come on, DJ Ricky, you know his name.
Let's call him Joe Schmo for now.
Yeah, just in any event, he was largely responsible for, quote, bringing Turkey into the West, into modern times. All right. And this would have been, coincident with the fall of the Ottoman Empire. What's his name? It's just right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway. Okay. So, that was happening in Turkey. Now you had this constitution. So there was a sense that that part of the Middle East was starting to move to the West, right? A little bit more. Meantime, so it turns out when Mossadegh ran, he was a little bit too much of a communist, right? Made us very uncomfortable. Made the CIA very uncomfortable. So that boy had to go. And so this, this whole stuff with Mossadegh, this is used as one of the classic examples of how the CIA stuck its nose in where it didn't belong when it came to foreign affairs. Just saying. Okay. All right. So, so Mossadegh is overthrown, and now we have the Shah. All right. I'm not quite sure how to react to this, but hey, let me try it this way.
It sounds like it's awful easy to overthrow things over in Iran. Why is it so difficult now?
Because we have different people. All right. Back then, all right.
All new people.
You had,
right. like my brother used to say, 100 years later, all new people.
That's right. And that would be very true. It blows my mind when we look at these old photographs and you see these big group pictures and you realize all these people are dead.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them.
It's just like, wow. In any event, so what I'm trying to get at here is that there is this back and forth in Iran between, how should I say this, respecting authority and wanting democracy. So we are told the story. By the way, just to throw this in, we have to remember that while we're amazed at how many Iranians live primarily in Los Angeles, 500,000 in Los Angeles?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the liberals. Those are Iranian liberals who are living in Los Angeles, right? So don't be surprised if they feel a little uncomfortable with the mullahs, all right? Mm-hmm. That said, okay, I'm going to go with these. We keep hearing this over and over again, but I'm still not there yet. Okay, I'm still not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
If they had a love for democracy and freedom that was as deeply sincere as I would expect it to be, we would see a lot more activity than we do right now. Yes, it's true. The mullahs are a really nasty bunch. Okay?
Trump told them to stay inside until we told them to come out.
Well, and just that. So we had another thing. What was it? I saw it a couple of days ago. So you have their judiciary. So the judiciary is extremely harsh. And as an example, there were a number of people who were protesters who have been arrested and put in prison. And the decision by the head judge is to hang them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh man, and we wonder why they're not coming out.
Yes, we could. Yes, but it also reflects. You have to ask yourself how many people support that, how many people quote respect that. That's the question I have.
I feel like I'm worried that we're about to betray the good people of Iran by just making a deal with the mullahs and just.
All right.
That would be a terrible mistake.
Doc DJ Ricky Smith is helping us out here. In 1906, it was Muzaffar ad-Din Shah Kahar. All right, I have to admit, Muhammad Ali Shah Kahar.
Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, right.
Like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Right. All right, so he keeps sort of modifying the spelling a little bit. We'll go with the simplified version, Ahmed Shah Kahar. And then I'm just grabbing the names in order from that time. That's fine. That's good. I mean, this helps to put things into perspective. So, DJ Ricky, since you are now our official researcher, keep up the good work.
Keep it up there.
That's right. We're counting on it.
Spread the word.
All right. So these examples point to, a culture. And by the way, I mean, when you think in terms of the Ottoman Empire and you go back even further in time, in my mind, all these guys is just one tyrant or king after another.
Absolutely. Right? Not just in the Ottoman Empire, but let's just expand that to the entire history of the world. It's a history of tyranny, oppression, and hierarchical rule. Right. The United States being the very only real exception to that rule. You can add Greece a little bit to it, but in Rome.
Yeah, well, the point is that both Greece and Rome, represented these departures from the kind of tyranny you're talking about. However, in Rome's case, we know that they fell. They went from being a republic to an empire.
That's correct.
And
Greece did the same thing in essence. They weren't really an empire, but they also devolved away from their initial democracy.
Right. So but the thing that puzzles me is I don't understand how you can have a group of people in a room who are upset at somebody standing there and saying, I'm taking more and more power for myself. And not say, whoa, 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 wait a second, buddy, not so fast. Okay. No, they don't. They let him do it.
Well, it's fear. It's out of fear.
Yeah. It was probably fear and whatever other problems they're having at the time.
That's why the high school bully gets so many friends.
What?
It's the same reason why the high school bully
has so
many friends.
I would think of them as fake friends.
They're fake friends, but you're right, fake friends.
Right.
Is that what's fundamentally behind the fake news?
Yeah, and that's right. And DJ, Ricky, you're right. Well, that's what's happening in the United States right now. I would emphasize more in Connecticut. Now, on your point, I'm going to digress. Forgive me. There has been a challenge here, okay, over what constitutes executive authority. All right. The argument here is that previous presidents have given executive authority, quote, a light touch. Donald Trump has stepped into the middle of this mess and has said, if I'm going to start to fix this, I have to push the limits of what would be understood to be executive authority. So we've seen this in terms of the legal challenges. You know, the executive orders, I'd say that might be pushing it too. But the sense is, all right, I mean, in my mind, there's a justification for it. But setting that aside, it's very clear that Donald Trump has really tried to, or there's a concept, and Steve Bannon has pounded away. It's called the unitary theory of the executive. All right. And so one aspect of the unitary theory of the executive is the belief that the president is the chief legislator and the chief judge.
No, that's bull.
And those authorities, the authority in those areas have been passed over to those main branches of our government. But he has the notion is, okay, there are parts where you have to pass out that authority to others, judges, but then there are decisions to be made related to the management of the judges. So when it's the management of the judges, now we have the unitary theory of the executive directed at that, where Steve Bannon said he also is the chief magistrate. Thought, okay, I guess if you're going to have a logically consistent notion of a unitary theory of the executive, this would be true. All right.
I think what it comes down to is it's nice to say that the legislative body and the people would have the right to declare war, say, like Congress has been given the power to declare war.
Mm-hmm.
But that power was granted at a time where it took 6 months to a year to develop a logistic and medical strategy.
Hey,
now we have a smaller world, and you can do things in minutes. So I think it's just harder to
All right, you're gonna love this. With DJ Ricky, he's letting us know he's from Milford. He's lived there his whole life. So he's referring to, I guess, a restaurant called the Seven Seas in Milford.
Mm-hmm, I've heard of it.
And he says, if you ever want to do a show from the Seven Seas, let me know.
I think I'm down for that.
Yes, me too. All right, Ricky, you can hunt us down. Let me see here. How can you get in touch with us? Let me think.
Tell him to message me on Facebook if you want.
All right.
Facebook.
Well, he's coming through us on YouTube.
Right.
All right. But
so he can still message us on if he has or give him my email address, or give me if you want.
Let's see here. I'm trying to figure. Wait, what's this here? I guess. What's this? Let's see if I can. I'm on FBI book. That's funny. FBI book. That's a new one. I think you're onto something there. It might be the CIA book, but we'll go with the FBI book.
We'll go with the FBI book.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm ready to wrap it up for myself.
All right. Well, I got to figure out how to get in touch with him.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. All right.
Is he a purveyor of the 7 Seas? We could just reach him there.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, DJ Ricky, that's just it. One of us will drop by there. We'll leave a note.
Yep.
And just look for Court. See that right there. See that guy, Court. So the note will have my name, and we'll see if we can put anything together.
I am
very cool.
I am plan on being on Stanford on the 13th too. So.
Okay. So who knows?
It's on the plan. It's on the agenda.
All right.
All right.
All right. So on that happy note, until later.
Until tomorrow.
All right.
I pulled it off, man.
Yes. Well, there you go. You survived. Yes.
Sometimes you got to just suck it up,
That's right.
All right. We'll see you.